good evening, Free Enterprise fans around the world, and welcome to Week 3 of the Pink Puff League, where everybody gets to play on Tybalt's favorite planet, the Moon. And speaking of Tybalt, my co-commentator, how are you this evening, Tybalt?
Doing pretty good, Possum. Yes, the moon, everybody's favorite place to be.
Yeah, the Moon, a wonderful place indeed, and our runners tonight have the choice of 5 of 6 of the lunar spots to choose from. They got to do 5 to get the crystal, to get to Zeromus. It's definitely an adventure. This is basically giant percent on steroids, but it's introducing all our pink puffs to all of the fantastic things the moon has to offer, or in some cases, the scary things the moon has to offer.
Yes, the moon, depending on the bosses that can be up there, can be quite scary. Like finding DKC at Cave Bahamut.
Ah, it's only 1300 damage of Dark Wave. That's not too bad.
That's true. Or, Baigen there too. Would be a
That-
little
that's
punchy.
That's terrifying. Uh, I would like to give a special shout out before we get going to the Pink Puff League creator, Oscar424. A huge shout out to everyone behind the scenes, Solaris doing the restream, Warlink tracking, Tybalt obviously on comms with me, and Alchemy and Moleboy deciding that they are going to tempt fate and volunteer to be restreamed for their lunar adventures. So I'm very excited to see how this goes. Tybalt, what do you think about an edge start here, guaranteed with the flag set?
The edge start, usually generally amazing, but we do have to worry a little bit because the C Neki flag is on, so he doesn't have all of his amazing gear. So getting him started, find me some darts. Find me any type of dart, silver sword, ninja stars, I want it all.
Yeah,
Because that's where
definitely.
his power's going to come from.
Yeah, those darts, and then also one of the cool things about this flag set is there's not one, not two, but 3 starter kits, and they're all grab bags. So our runners will get 24 total items, varying from tier 1 to 5. Could be completely random items that are things like carrots or, diet foods, or could be things like ninja swords and full moons. So it'll be very interesting to see how those kits come out for our runners as they are underway, and we have a Sid joining this edge with Ha 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 himself, Golbez giving us the legend sword.
We got an ogre axe for that Sid.
I saw a mute knife, a ninja shirt, and a cursed ring.
Oh,
That
yeah.
cursed ring in particular, that excites me quite a bit.
Oh, and there's everybody's favorite charm claw. I saw that too. Yes, we at least got some decent gear for our starting party here. We've got, the heavy mail Dragoon armor for Sid, with maybe the rune axe or ogre axe. And for Edge, we've got a mute knife, short sword, and ninja. So I think he's pretty well set for the early game, considering he starts with flame.
Yeah, in particular, that mute knife, not only is it a comparable to a longsword as far as damage, but it also gives him +5 to wisdom, which increases the damage from that flame spell. So instead of doing about 300, it'll do somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 to 450. So quite a nice piece of gear for Edge to be starting with. And we see Moleboy going to the Damsian Treasury here. Tybalt, with the treasure flags on, how do you feel about this Damsian rush here?
With T standard, loot's not weighted at all, so I want places that have lots of loot in a very dense location, and DMCN has that. Things like front and back Watery Pass are also good, but things that are a little bit harder, like Eblin, you kind of stay away from there in T standard, just because you have to reset so many times. It's really not going to be worth it.
Yeah, and I know you were talking about darts for Edge that you want. We did find a Gungnir spear in the Damsian basement there. That's a really good dart, but I don't know. Would you dart that one, or would you hold on to that for a potential cane?
I'd hold on that for a little bit to see for a potential cane, just because the Gungnir Spirit is quite a good piece of gear for him.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I'd look for things like drain spears, drain swords, um, slumber swords even as darts. I think that Gungnir is just too valuable to pass up right now.
Yeah, because I think it's the same cost as a light sword for Cecil.
Yeah, It's about 66,000. And oh, there's a Rosa in the Baron Inn. That is an amazing find for this team. Rosa, not just a white mage, but the preeminent white mage in Free Enterprise.
Yeah, and that Lunar Sparkle could be any of the Lunar bosses, and we have, I believe, your favorite character here on Mount Hobbs.
Yeah, we have your favorite claw. We have my favorite character. We get a little bit of everything for everyone in this seed.
Yeah. At least it's a white mage. Granted, we do have the best one in that one, but could be hidden behind maybe a wyvern or something nasty in that first spot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are awkward in that first spot because it's also very fast. Like, yes, Edge starts with 23 agility. If you put that ninja shirt on him, it puts him to 26. But that first spot has anywhere between 11 and 14 agility. So if it high rolls on the agility, that's a little bit scary. You could definitely take your licks in that spot if you're not quick on your inputs.
And we've got Moboy taking on the Odin here to get that Porum. Wonder what she comes equipped with. Probably going to stick the Bonk Staff on her.
Charm Arrows and Archer Bow is actually an amazing high roll.
Yeah, I think that's the highest you can actually get in Seanaki.
I was going to say, I don't know that it gets better than that. So I know it's only Porum, but that's a really good haul.
Yeah. Considering even with the shops being standard, I think the best arrows that you can buy is either Charm or Mute. So 20 of those early on is quite nice.
Yeah, Overworld. Yeah, Overworld Charm and Mute's the best you can get. You can pick up Samurai in the Underworld, but I mean, you got to get there for that. So those Charm Arrows, that, as you said, is really nice. Could also even go on Sid to back row him, or to just have him deal extra damage versus a variety of different things.
After Sid with a decent bow can sometimes do out damage him with one of his normal axes or something like that.
Yep, and I believe we're on Charm Claw count 2, just for those keeping track at home.
Yep. As Moboy's looting just a little bit of antline here. Just the chest you pass. Don't hate it. You can always maybe find something to get you through.
Yeah, both runners are through that Odin, picked up their Porum. Alchemy has the knowledge since she stopped in Baron and found that Rosa, whereas Moleboy has decided he's going to hold off on the Rosa for now, or hold off on the Baron in check. Might decide he's strong enough after Antline and after Hobbs to head back there. It'll be interesting to see how he routes it, where Alchemy already has that knowledge ahead of time.
We've got some Kaipo guards here and the Antlion. Using a coffin to take out the officer.
Yeah, I mean, you start with 2 of them. I think the way that I would approach that is just flame there and try to save the resources. But you have the J items, and this is one of the fights you're generally planning on using a coffin on anyway. So I don't hate it. It's still plenty fast. But I think that flame might have been just a little faster. But speaking of fast, there's our underground access.
Now here comes the question. Do you go immediately underground and do some shopping and maybe get some early levels on your characters? Since you do have a coffin and you can power level at least the Porum in your team?
I would take a look at Baron in first before I go underground for the Magma Key. I would just want to see who that 4th character is. If you find sirens in shops, you would be able to go ahead and take that 4th character, go underground, maybe spike a siren or 2, use that coffin, and have all 4 of your characters get levels instead of just 3 of them.
Yeah, it all depends on what that Lunar Sparkle is. But we have Moboy going into Mist Village here. Finds a money shirt and a dart.
Yeah, I don't hate either of those. Only 3 chests, but those 3 chests have quite a bit there. I love the Thunderclaw here in this shop. If we don't already have one, I'm not actually certain, but that Thunderclaw could deal a ton of damage to any of the various elemental, Thunder Elemental or Lit Elemental weak bosses that are floating around.
Yeah, we've already taken care of one, but even as well, you also have those trapped chests down in the lower Babel that take extra damage from the Thunderclaw.
Yeah, it's definitely true that you would be able to one-shot them. And oh hey, we are with a demist hunt on this flag set, and Moleboy has found said demist.
In vanilla at that.
That's a huge pickup though, because that is something you're very likely to fade until it routes in at a more clean opportunity. So that's a huge pickup for Moleboy. Meanwhile, we have two incredibly important items in a shop on Alchemy's screen. I saw both life potions and cabins, which are really important when you eventually end up on the moon in this flag set.
And Moleboy entering from the left side. And oh,
Wow.
there we go. I think Solaris may have wanted a bit of a jet seed.
So this might be take the first 5 characters you find, do a grind, pray that you can get through everything, and here we go. Moleboy going to launch the dark, or excuse me, the big whale, the dark whale. Wow. Nope, faking us out. He's gonna go underground.
Yeah, I mean, with just being K main, finding the chance of finding 10 key items very quickly is something to think about. Therefore, we can get the double experience. But also finding mute bells in that same shop. If we find sirens underground or on the moon, we could possibly have some warlock grinding.
Yeah,
As we already have a mute knife.
Warlocks could definitely be on the table. It'll be interesting to see what our runners do, because this is one of those things where the more you get into a seed, the less and less you forget about checking the mist cave, the less you remember about checking the waterfall. And so for Moleboy to have hit this early changes things significantly to what his experience will be versus what Alchemy's experience will be.
Very true. I know a lot of people tend to forget about Mist Cave until near the end, or a reason to go there to check a character like Package.
Yeah. Now, I will say that, a lot of folks may be thinking, oh, hey, we're 8 minutes into the race and technically we have go mode. We are nowhere near the end of this. You have to take on everything on the moon, more or less. You need levels and you need a party. So yes, this is go mode in 10 minutes. I would be surprised if we're done in under an hour. Just simply based on my experience with this flag set and how difficult it is to really get your party going, especially when we don't even know if sirens are going to be available underground.
Very true. We found some Cure 3s, some Star Veils at a shop on Alchemy's side. That's one other thing about having, quote unquote, early Goma with the darkness is you really don't have any funds for anything.
Yeah. You're lacking the ability to buy all of those nice things that you need. You're lacking the ability really to go charge at the moon as well. Yes, you have Edge and he's strong in the overworld, but no one's strong on the moon at these levels.
No. Not at all. But we got Alchemy checking out the Bull defense here. And Moleboy going to check the Baymarch freebie.
And yeah, looks like we have Karate, otherwise known as Yang, defending Fabul. Maybe trying to keep everyone from getting to Sheila eventually. I'm not certain what's going on here, but or maybe Karate is trying to invade Fabul to get to Sheila. Who knows?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like maybe they had a fight. Maybe he's just trying to come home, and we're just like, no, you've been bad.
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, found a hook. So we have another character check.
Well, more importantly than the character check, that is every shop open. So our runners are going to be able to tell if sirens are available very soon, and if they're not, then you can just sneak them with Edge. So that's a huge pickup for our runners. And there's a Luca key for Alchemy for defending Fabul as well.
Yep. Also picks up an Earth Hammer for the Cid. Great early weapon, considering you can use it for an early Quake in case you find a gauntlet in one of the overworld spots.
Now, I didn't see it. Did Moleboy check the Feymark shop?
Yes, it was just elixirs in that shop.
Elixirs? Okay. I got scared for a minute there.
Yep, it was a pretty sad shop with it being just elixirs.
Yeah, I mean, elixirs are a tier 5 consumable, but they are widely regarded as the worst tier 5 consumable. So you're not usually thrilled to find them there.
And we have found our sirens for sale.
Okay. I mean, that is game on for our runners. Now it's a matter of, do they have enough stuff to sell to buy as many sirens as they're going to need? Because they're going to need a lot of sirens to really get this party started. Now, crystal armor, ninja shirt, black shirt, that's going to let you get a lot of sirens.
Yep, as we see a stack of 20 being bought. And some star veils.
I like the purchase of the star veils as well. I know Alchemy purchased star veils also. Wyvern, Golbez. I know Golbez is in the Baigan spot. Asura even. Lots of different bosses where you can benefit from having those star veils. Sork robe and a lightsaber and a free thunderclaw and diamond armor. Lots of money there, as well as, what was that, a stock broker, field stock broker, something.
Yeah,
I'm bad with words.
The seed has been validated with the job dwarf being checked. But I did see a stack of Mubels in Moleboy's inventory, so I wonder if he's planning to possibly do some warlocks. Maybe checking the dwarf shop here, maybe finding some hourglasses or something else to use on the moon.
Or just coffins in general would be phenomenal to get the egg grind started. Because this party, outside of edge darting, doesn't really have a great way. Well, there's a drain spear. That is perfect for the first egg.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of what you're looking for, is a way to easily deal with a couple of eggs.
We still do have that Gungnir spear in our inventory that we could use, but the possibility of Kane, he can use the Ogre Axe, which is still fine enough. But
yeah, Gungnir versus Ogre Axe, though, it's, to me, a significant upgrade.
Yeah, I would say the same. Significant upgrade.
It looks like I think Moleboy is going to be finding his hoverboat and probably going to give us a check on the Eblin shops. I think since we've seen elixirs, we've seen sirens, this has to have 2 of the 3 of either Bacchus, hourglasses, or coffins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because those are the only tier 5 consumables that runners are really looking for. And Eblin need to have at least 2 tier 5 consumables. Finding a black belt, which is a really good piece of equipment for your melee fighters.
And shout out to both runners. We're getting double validation from our runners. It looks like a broker's floor representative. Okay. Thank you to both.
And there's our Hourglass 2 and Bacchus.
So sirens are either on the moon, excuse me, not sirens. Coffins are either on the moon or not in the seed. And that is a little awkward because coffins you can't steal.
No.
Selling the light sword. Selling the Thunderclaw. Ooh, I'm rather intrigued by some of these sales. Tons of money.
Yeah, looking to buy some Hourglasses and Bacchus along with some exits. Don't hate the purchase of exits. Porum does eventually learn exit, but if you don't have a Porum or a Cecil in your team, or even one of the other white mages, buying some exits can really help you out and get you out quickly.
I mean, it's amazing right now, because if you're going to dive this hook route to check the character, that exit's going to immediately come in handy.
And we got Moleboy here, tempting fate as he goes through Cave Eblin, looting away.
And Alchemy going to give us a trip into Luca? Nope, deciding I'm not going to go to Luca. I'm going to go to the Feymarch instead. Fake this out there.
Moleboy getting all the darts. Found another Drain Spear.
This is scary.
Yeah, gotta be able to get that Hourglass 2 off. Hopefully wins the 50-50. And
All right. Think he's all
won
right.
yeah, winning the 50-50. Unfortunately, you can't coffin these guys.
No, you cannot. You can beat them to a pulp, though, and that Sid has, I want to say, an axe of some sort, but I don't think it's an Ogre axe. Yeah, Rune Axe not going to deal bonus damage here, just the Rune Axe, excuse me, just the Ogre Axe and Poison Axe, but still going to be able to get through this. Now we have a Berserk Staleman. That would be terrifying if it wasn't Hourglass.
That's the one problem with using the Power Staff. You can Zerk the enemy and have a real bad time.
But I don't think it's going to super matter here. The damage is going to come out just enough to get through this. So Moleboy's going to have a chance to get, potentially a really good item out of this. Maybe a Murasame, Masamune. Could even get something like a Crystal Sword or an Excal if there's a Cecil that shows up somewhere.
Or even something like an Artie Bow for the Sid we already have in our party right now.
True. Or even a white shirt.
Always a white shirt.
Or a strength. I mean, it's multipliers for your fighters. It's not the worst thing.
Oh, that's the standard for you. Trap chests are not always. The range of loot in a trap chest is quite big. Get some more dragon gear.
That's, without the spoon, not the one you wanted to find. I love Edward with a spoon on this flag set. Absolutely adore him. But without the spoon, ooh, that's a tough sell.
Well, here comes the thing. You find a 5th character on the moon. Let's say it's, I don't know, Cecil or it's Kane. Leave it as your anchor. Keep Sid up.
Well, or do you get the Rosa from Baron Inn? Get the 6th character then on the moon and just bench Eddie. Tough to say. Looks like Alchemy showed us there's King Queen Evelyn as well as the Gauntlet down in the Fame Arch. Our runner's not going to have to deal with either of them. So that's good because that Gauntlet is annoying.
Yeah, and we've got Mobile here with a double full moon edge. That is pretty nice for him.
Yeah, double full moon headband, ninja shirt, strength ring. That's a pretty loaded edge right there.
And you have Ed starting with his best weapon, a dancing dagger.
Let Ed hit things.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
But this is where I don't hate if you're Moleboy checking Baron in here to try to see if you can pick up another character. Yeah, that looks like where he's going. I definitely like this play. Alchemy healing up. We might get an early run at Dwarf Castle here, which would be very ambitious. Nope, Alchemy going to go to greener pastures.
I mean, a lot of the fights underground are quite difficult. I mean, the one character that really does the most damage in both these runners' team is the Edge.
Yeah.
Having Edge just carry you in the underworld, a little more difficult.
Now we see here that that Moleboy currently has nobody in the center slot. For overworld fights, I would personally recommend that Edge be in the middle. So that way he can go ahead and be just plain faster than everybody else.
Yes.
Right now, you're running the risk of Edge not being as fast.
Right. And right now, actually, without anybody in the center slot, Sid is actually currently the agility anchor.
Yeah, which is probably the second best option, but not the best option. Looks like we're getting elements here, though. This could die to a single drain spear. And looks like that's what we're getting, and there goes elements. So Moleboy very quickly through this.
Yeah, very not too scary of a Baron Inn.
Tower key.
Tower key.
So that's 5 key items already for our runners. It'll be interesting to see, do our runners chase more? Or do our runners decide that they would prefer to just grind with the characters that they have? I know for Alchemy, she does not have the Darkness Crystal, but did pick up a Rat Tail from the Sheila 1. And Moleboy now faced with that decision of which direction to go.
Right, and there are a few key items out there that do have quite a long, some chains to them. We could find the pan here at Rat Tail and go all about the place and get 10 key items, making the grind faster. Or you could just end up with, Adamant. And that's the end of the chain.
Definitely true. I mean, Adamant wouldn't be the end of the world. It's, still a dart.
Yeah.
Because it gets you an Excalibur, but it wouldn't be exactly what you wanted, per se.
No.
But this Rat Tail, that turns into the Earth Crystal. 2 potential character checks. Also the Treasury, and that would be 18 boxes in there, plus 9 more, 9 more, 1 in the second room and 8 in the third room. 27 boxes just hanging out there. All of them are equal weight, but that's a lot of loot and a lot of money that you can scrounge up very quickly.
Oh, yeah. And plus 2 characters and key item at on Zot. Who knows who you could find up there? It is a gated location. Could find maybe another edge, maybe a Foo.
Yep.
We have Mobile here going to the moon. I'm going to see who's up here, and we'll see what Moleboy does.
Looks like we're going to get a shop check, I would imagine. Looking for those coffins that we had talked about. That would really get the grind going for this team. 20 sirens and just as many coffins. That would be a delight. And there they are. So we're definitely going to see at least 10. I'm curious if we see more.
Looks like he might be a little bit broke for that, looking to sell some things. Almost sold the Sorcerer Robe there. Want to keep that, stick that on your healer. Really good magic defense, and also giving to the Wisdom and Will stat. Definitely.
Almost selling the 2 Gungners as well. Might be holding them back. Looks like we have at least enough for quite a few more coffins, though. This is going to be upwards of 17 coffins to go with the 20 sirens. So I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of eggs in Moleboy's future once we find out who this moon character is. And then we're going to see what he decides to do on the moon. I think Moleboy has a very direct play to the end of this seed. We shall see, though.
I mean, you do have your curse ring. You can make almost anybody your anchor. But I'd say with the particular party buying all the Bacchus, I'd want an actual physical fighter.
Yeah,
I always hope for Kane. Kane would be nice, even though he just sold the Gungnir spears. But Patley Average can do something.
I'd be looking at Kane. I'd be looking at Cecil, a second edge. Those would all be good here. It looks like Moleboy is going to get a Rydia, though. So that is interesting. Going to be quite the decision here. I think I would get rid of Edward. Take Rydia on, and I might be looking at a Reflect team now. It's going to be a little weird because you're going to be looking at double white with Nuke instead of the more traditional double Nuke with white. But I think this is a situation where you kind of just got to go with what you're given in Moleboy's situation.
Yeah, the only unfortunate thing is that Rydia has such a high experience curve. Getting her up to Nuke is going to take a bit of time.
Yeah, 20 sirens, not going to be enough. That's 680,000. She will get a slingshot off the first 1 or 2 of them. But even so, she's going to need another 8 sirens after that. So, yeah, it's doable, but it's gonna take a while. So Moleboy is gonna be cooking some omelets for quite a while, while Alchemy retreading some of the steps that Moleboy's on, and going to be trying to get through these stalemen. Need to see an hourglass come out here though, or this is gonna get a little ugly.
As Sid has been put to sleep because he doesn't start with his normal prisoner armor.
Yeah, one of the fun facts about that prisoner armor is it actually prevents or helps to prevent sleep.
Yeah, just the little niche things that can make you do some interesting things in this game.
Oh, it looks like we are getting a no anchor situation from Moleboy, possibly going to keep this Sid alive. It'd be interesting to see what his end game decision making is going to be regarding anchoring on this.
Well, the nice thing is if Sid's the anchor, he does have a curse string.
It's true, they started with a curse ring. Very good point. Don't need to kill him off.
No, let him get levels. Let him, have the 5k HP that he'll have at the end, and can take an unnerfed Big Bang with and just go, what was that? Oh,
Yep. I mean, ideally with the rest of this team, though, you don't want to be taking unnerfed Big Bangs. Because like Rydia and Porum, for example, I'd love to say they gained HP, but they don't.
no, they barely hit 2k when they get up to their nuke and white, but they do get some actual decent magic defense rolls with their levels.
Oh, Rydia in particular gains a ton of both will and wisdom. Rydia can oftentimes just kind of stare at Zeromus and just laugh while he fails to Meteo 12 times in a row. Rydia will just have a stare down with the big bad final boss and laugh. It's pretty hilarious, and I've seen it more than one time.
I think Alchemy here is hoping to get something really good from a trap chest. It is one of the easier trap chests to take care of, besides the eyeballs. At least I would say.
It's definitely one of the easier ones. It is deceptive, though, because the Stalemen are very punchy, and they are resistant to, instant death and all of those type of things. But looks like Alchemy is through, and she is also going to be getting her strength ring. So on level footing with Moleboy as far as that trap chest.
One thing to note that may have made it a little bit easier for, future runners, the Stalemen that are actually weak to ice. So something like an Ice Claw could have helped out quite a bit. Which I do believe they do have, unless they sold it.
Yeah, definitely would have been something that could have been applied there. It's tough to, I know for me, tough to think of all the random elemental weaknesses, especially when I'm rocking Edge instead of rocking a Yang. I always think, hey, with Yang, I can put claws on him. We got this. With Edge, half the time I forget you can put claws on him. Thunderclaw is the one I always think of, but Ice and Fire, I'm more likely to forget that he can even equip him.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things that I just always have in my head that, yes, Edge can equip the claws too. I need to remember that. I always think of Edge as an upgraded Yang.
Yeah, definitely a good way to look at it, because Edge can deal extra damage. The big difference is he just doesn't have as much health, but other than that, Edge is pretty much better in every other way. He's faster, he's largely considered stronger. He can equip things like, Misamenes, Murasames, ninja swords to go with those claws. Instead of relying on just, stat boosting, he can actually have weapons boosting his raw attack.
We have Alchemy dipping into Baron Inn. Hopefully she's able to get through. Uses Flame to take out the D-Lunars.
Yeah, definitely like this. We kind of talked about this with regards to Moleboy's approach to the D-Lunars, that the Flame here just one-shots them, takes care of them nice and easy. And going to see this Elements, we'll see if Alchemy decides to use Flame here as well. Did wait a little bit. One of the interesting things about the Elements in this spot is it's so slow. If you don't wait a little bit, they won't actually have the weakness set until like a tick or two passes. It takes a while for the actual weakness to get set. It's very interesting with Elements being so slow there, that if you flame right away, you may actually only deal about 500 damage instead of the full, 1800.
Yeah, and it actually looks like I believe actually got the mage boost damage onto Ruby there.
Yep, that second form of elements being Ruby is treated as a mage for reasons unbeknownst to everybody, and therefore that mute knife was able to do bonus damage. And yeah, to catch everybody up, the darkness crystal was hidden behind vanilla demist in the mist cave, just hanging out. And Moleboy got that about the 8 minute and 25-second mark, while Alchemy is yet to check that vanilla mist cave. Not that it's a bad play or an incorrect play to not check that, because it's hard to route it in. And you don't expect, oh hey, vanilla demist is going to have that darkness crystal. That's just not in the normal routing of a seed.
No, Dia's having any form of great progression, it always hurts when you do find it, because just like, Demist had it, really?
Yeah, and this is one of the things about this flag set is there is quite a bit of variance built into it. You can have seeds where you start with the darkness crystal, and you can have seeds where you go 17 out of 17. You're going to see, for the times on this one, folks are going to have wildly different experiences on this from one runner to the next. Because if you find an early darkness crystal like Moleboy did, your experience on this flag set is far, far different than Alchemy's, for example.
Yep. We have Alchemy going up the Tower of Zot here. Faded the treasuries. But with T standard, may find something great in there, may not.
Well, it'd be interesting to see if she's able to find something great up here in the way of characters. This is a nice play to make. Leviathan not too scary here. Maybe we'll see the Thunderclaw get equipped if Alchemy has one of those. But could just Zerk either Sid or Edge here, and we'll do plenty of damage as well.
Yeah, looks like Zerk and Sid. I believe Sid has the Rune Axe on right now.
And also looks like we are through 17 eggs on Moleboy's side, because that was the last of the coffins.
Yeah, got 2 more in his inventory. Pop in a cabin. Heal everybody up, get all their MP. It may just go either with Quake Virus or straight out DPS race. But kept that Charmrod.
Yeah, keeping that Charmrod is huge for Rydia. Has a Sork Robe as well. Like, Rydia is not Palom. But Rydia with a Charmrod and a Sork Robe gets a whole lot closer to Palom. That's plus, 15 wisdom?
Yep. 10 from the Charmrod and 5 from the Sork Robe.
Spot to be in if you're a Rydia fan. She's going to be doing some work.
Got Rosa, with 2k, almost to white, I believe.
Rosa embracing that Sea-Neki life. She has bows and arrows, and that's going to do it.
Well, gotta do what you gotta do.
Now, it will be interesting to see if Moleboy goes back for any additional sirens. Looks like he's going to go and start quaking eggs now with Iridia. This is definitely going to one-shot. It'll be interesting to see if Virus would be able to one-shot as well. It is a little quicker, but Quake is definitely safer.
Yeah, I think going for the safe route, in particular, going with the Quake, Virus can sometimes go lower than, I believe it's, 1,800 for the eggs?
Yep, and dead on 1,800 health. And it looks like there is a Bard. Not exactly what you want to see, and also French vanilla dolls. So the dolls that you see up here in the tower, or whatever boss you see that runs away, that is going to be in the second spot in Dwarf Castle. And as you were saying, Tybalt, there's a roll of 1,770, so just shy of killing that yellow dragon.
And our second character on Zot here is a
Ooh.
Foo.
Oh my.
I
I
can't
don't.
remember.
Yeah, I don't think we can understate how big a pickup a Fusoya is.
Yeah, Foo is huge. I don't think it's not vanilla Foo. Gonna need to get some extra bosses on him to get him powered up. But Foo's good.
Yeah, and chat bringing up a great point. Warlink, who's doing a tracking for us. Again, huge shout outs to Solaris behind the scenes for Restream and Warlink on tracking. Warlink pointing out that Fusoya may push Alchemy over towards Mist Cave. So that's actually a really good find for Alchemy.
And we have more French vanilla as the Maga Sisters. Not a place you really want to find them, as they have quite a bit beefed up more magic here.
Now we do see Mole Boy also running into Value Cave. He still has Rosa in the middle, so it doesn't look like that Sid's going to be playing Anchor just yet. He also has Rosa in the front row, which is scary to me.
Maybe just checking.
Ooh. I mean, Octomam's very doable, but boy howdy is Octomam going to be punchy.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. But if you can get 3 hits off, you can slow them down by quite a bit, and they'll become more manageable.
Definitely. 3 hits to drop the first tentacle, and then 2 hits to drop each additional tentacle after that. And there goes Rosa. One shot and done. Speaking of one shot and done, Alchemy saying, Foo, rocks, go.
Yeah, we get another 3 spells on Foo, and we get to see what's at the Tower of Zot here. Gets Cure 4 on the Foo.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team of, white mages, mages in general. That Cure 4 is really nice. And it looks like we are getting some blinks coming out on Mole Boy's side. This, as far as Value Cave bosses go, not the best, not the worst. Speaking of the worst, in my humble opinion, there's a Twin Harp from the Earth Crystal. Fade it, Alchemy. Fade it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't think Alchemy is going to fade it as, let's see, they're 3, 6... they're at 8 key items.
Well, also on Restream, you have to do music. It's
yes, exactly.
Part of the deal.
And
hey, there we go.
There we go.
So the nice part about this is going to get 9 key items for Alchemy. Then she just has to decide, where do I want to get my 10th from? Because you want to do your grind with 10 in this case, since it cuts it in half for Alchemy. I would lean towards either the tower key, since it's a very easy check, or music. Those would be the 2 locations I would hunt down.
Yeah. That's what I would, that as well for me. I would do either. I would probably do tower key over music, as I believe it's just a little bit faster.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You're also a little bit closer to the actual Acidia.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I would certainly want to do the tower key first. It's only about 600 health in there. Goes down very quickly. Less cutscenes. You already know where Golbez is, so can't be there. You already know if you're in Alchemy shoes, can't be the Gauntlet either, because you've seen it in the Fey March. So the 2 bosses that would punish you the most are already gone.
We have somebody chatting here. Plumeria Knight, she has Foo. D Machine? Could do a D Machine. I mean, not out of the realm. Antline's no longer having a vacation on the moon.
Yeah, I want a refund. Antline is supposed to be on the moon always. That's where Antline resides.
I'm trying to think of the bosses we've seen and what bosses are still in the pool. There's still quite a few bit nasty bosses that could be here on the moon.
Oh yeah, there's Baigan, there's Val. Who else do we have available?
Nope Rope,
Wyvern. There's still quite a few out there that are not pleasant.
As we have Molboy taking a quick nap, my guess would probably be doing top down.
Yeah, top down would make a lot of sense here. You can always decide to opt out of the Murasame altar if it's just a gross fight. So let's say you find Wyvern or Ogopogo or Baigen, you probably would make that your fade because those are just not fun anywhere on the moon.
No. And we have Alchemy rearranging her spells on Fu. Has white on Fu.
Yeah, white will definitely help. Virus is nice. Meteo already came in handy against the Magus sisters.
Yep. Go on to Ordeals to fight 3 more bosses and get 9 more spells on Fu.
Yeah, and could be looking for weak.
Yep.
In addition, could be getting a 10th key item. So I think actually in Alchemy Shoes, this is really heads up because you're getting the 3 sets of spells and a key item check. Whereas if you could just do Tower, you don't necessarily get that Fu to air quotes power overwhelming. So I think this is actually really heads up from Alchemy.
Yeah, we've got a Mylon Z here at the Murasame altar. Not
a good
very
fight.
Scary.
Well, a good fight to have a bunch of white mages for as well.
Yeah, Cure 4s, whites, Fire 3s, this is a good. I don't see Molboy having too much of a problem, considering the amount of HP he has on his team. Yeah, there's another free.
Yeah, Bahamut and the guards on Ordeals does not bode well for our runners. Those were 2 of the remaining freebies.
Yeah, we only have King, Queen, Eblin, and Dimps left for freebies.
Power Shirt is a beautiful find for, I would say, Edge. Well, maybe Sid. It's tough to say. You could go with either one.
Yeah. But I think Sid's rocking the dragon armor, so maybe put it on Rosa, give her some extra defense.
Could be, yeah. Especially in that front row, you're gonna want something on her. Alchemy charging through, going to the chamber where Cecil would normally turn into a paladin. Fusoya is going to turn us into his own personal chamber of learning and pick up 3 more spells plus a key item for the party. So while Molboy is charging down the lunar subterrane 2 out of 5 objectives in, Alchemy is picking up a pan, which is 10 key items, in addition to having that darkness crystal.
Well, there's at least one boss that can be nasty that's not on the moon. Kainazzo.
Yeah. That's a good one for our runners, because Kainazzo is ugly on the moon. Especially at a place like D Lunars. Oh,
D Lunars,
that's a tough spell. Yeah.
I mean, yes, you can nerf the waves from Kainazzo. It's not fun.
There's Nuke.
We can now microwave things. And it looks like we have Molboy going all the way down to the LST, skipping out on the Crystal Sword altar for right now.
Yeah, I don't hate to play. Both the Murasame and the Cave Bahamut bosses were not too bad, so you didn't have to fade them. The logical fade at this point becomes the Crystal Sword altar, because the other 3 are grouped. Yep. And you have to walk to Z not having a pass anyway. So I like this play from Molboy to skip the Crystal Sword altar until you find something gross, like, not a water hag.
Well, there's a free fight.
I was trying to hype this up so I could lead into that being not free, and it was the exact opposite. I'm disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, Molboy's going to get 100k experience from here. Not the overwhelming 200k if 10 key items were in play, but 100k is still 100k.
Yeah, 100k is a level and a half to 2 levels on Rydia, which is really important to get her to nuke.
And down goes the Water Hag.
And looks like Alchemy may be saying, I have Fu, I don't need to grind. And looks like she is going to be charging straight up. We have a Crystal Sword with no Cecil, but more importantly for this team, a white shirt.
Yes.
And that is quite good for this Rosa.
Mm-hmm. We have the power couple room, so to speak. Crystal Sword for Cecil and White Shirt for Rosa.
Yeah.
That's all they really need.
It looks
And
like we have.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it looks like we have Moleboy going to the White Spear altar next. Here's a boss that's not quite free. That's going to be a punchy Mom Bomb that Moleboy has to deal with.
And I don't think that ended up being a multi-cat. Yep, that was just a Cure 4 and just Rosa.
Well,
Gotta
she
love
is
it when you
super
drop
healed.
inputs. Gotta love it when your controller drops an input.
Yeah. I've never had that happen before.
Neither have I.
Not once or 3 times or 10 today. You know, never happens. Never.
Nah. It's planned. That's what it is. It's planned. It's good entertainment.
Exactly. Throwing for content.
There we go.
Also, Rydia, can you please take the magnet off? There are other people, and they can also be hit.
Yes, because we want Rydia to stay alive so she can get some experience. Unfortunately, if Mom Bomb does not explode and go into her little babies, you don't get the full experience from the spot.
Well, to be fair, this spot only gives 30,000 XP basically anyway, and it's split, so you'll be looking at like 10,000 XP from this. It's going to be abysmally low.
I have been 4K short of having Nuke on Rydia before. So every little bit always counts in my mind.
Also, Rosa in particular is saying she really dislikes this one bomb that's about to get whited. That red bomb. Oh, bye-bye.
Yep. You're going to hit my friends, I'm going to hit you back. And then Quake comes out for Rydia, takes care of the rest of the bombs.
A whopping 17,000 XP from a lunar spot. That is not what you want. A glass hat is helpful, though.
Yeah, it would have been helpful before the fight.
As so often is the case in Free Enterprise.
Yep. Buy a curse ring, find a curse ring in the next chest. Oh, this piece of item would have been great for the fight I just went through. I think the game's trying to help you in that aspect.
Yep.
Yeah, see, you didn't need this piece of equipment to get through the fight. But now that you've gotten through it, yes, you may have it.
And looks like Alchemy going to head into the lunar subterrane. She is going to see who is the character up here on the moon and probably be a little bit disappointed.
Well, I mean, you do have the possibility of slingshotting the Rydia if you decide to do a D-Machine grind.
That's true. D-Machine would be on the table.
Yeah, for Alchemy to get Rydia up to Nuke would be 3 Life Glitch D-Machines. And there's a nasty fight.
I think I would consider turning around and going to the Crystal Sword altar here.
Because only Sid and Edge are really going to be able to do any damage here.
Yeah. I think this is one of those situations where you have 5 of 6 on the table. I think this is where you really leverage that and say, I'm good. I'll go play in a different sandbox.
I wonder if Moleboy resets after this white just misses.
Yep, you called it. That's a good reset.
Yep.
That's a
One of
very
those
good
things.
reset.
There are resources out there where there is a Valvalis chart that can tell you which spots you can hit her with magic and where you can't. So, and that is one of those particular spots. I think there's only 2 spots on the moon that you can hit her with magic. I think that's Mura and Pale Dim. Or not Pale Dim.
I think it's just Value Cave. I think that's the only one that's 254 instead of 255.
Yeah.
Yeah, long story short, magic against Val on the moon is a giant nope in most cases. And yes, Baigen here would also be brutal. That would put our runners in having a very tough choice of which awful fight do you want to have to encounter. But this is going to be Mylon and Friends. This is a far, far more doable fight.
Far freer fight, too. I wonder if Molboy has any Hourglass 2s, as you can reduce the incoming damage by even more by stopping those ghasts. Even though it's piddly less than 20 HP.
It's more for time than it is for damage reduction. The actual big thing to be worried about here is once the ghasts are gone, Mylon itself will get very punchy. Now, if you kill the Mylon first and leave the ghasts, you can consider your party dead. They will punch for quad 9s here if you kill Mylon proper before killing the Fiends. Don't do that in this spot. It is real bad news.
Yeah, I think I've done that once myself. Not fun.
No, not great. Looks like we're on floor 4 of the Lunar Subterranean, and Alchemy has some Sirens. This might be your favorite grind, Tybalt. Warlocks.
Yes, favorite grind. Using Mute Bells, the easier way to grind the Warlocks, as it's a faster use than trying to cast Mute.
Yeah, Mute Bell, no delay, since it is an item, whereas the Mute spell has a fairly substantial delay. So this is very heads up by Alchemy to do this grind here. Meanwhile, Moleboy getting his crystal. That is his 5th objective completed at the Crystal Sword Altar, and he has the decision now of how he wants to tackle the rest of this game, because I still don't believe that Rydia has nuke.
No, and Porum just learned white.
So 2 white casters makes for a very difficult reflect strat. Does Moleboy have any Sirens left?
I don't believe so.
So Rydia's at level 49. I think you have to take an encounter or 2 to get her to nuke. I think it's just way too important to have that extra burst for the Zeromus fight.
Looking to see how much more experience she needs, about 10k short.
Oh, that's brutal. Blame Mom Bomb for that. If not for the split XP from Mom Bomb, there would be nuke on Rydia.
I wonder if just taking random encounters in front of the ribbon room, as I believe most of those except for the defossil will give you enough to nuke.
Yeah, I would definitely just turn on random encounters here and take a fight and call it good.
I think looking to see if there is any more Sirens in the inventory.
The gold and silver Ryu is a fairly common fight here. The D Fossil, I think it is a fairly common one here. A single silver dragon is fairly common. Oh, there's that one. Hourglass would be really helpful here.
Yeah, I don't think I saw any hourglasses. Oh, nope, there's 4.
Yeah, that's very heads up to use the Hourglass here. These get really mean. Rydia does also have weak. That would be one thing that would expedite this quite a bit, is to be able to weak the dragons. But looks like Moleboy's just going to opt for power overwhelming, and we're going to see some whites come out and kind of go from there, letting the white mages just do offensive things.
So I think the King Ryu here only has just under 10k health, so going to be able to get through it here fairly quickly.
And there is that fight. That's going to be Nuke on Rydia. And now we're going to get to see, how does Moleboy want to arrange his party? Is he going to go for that RA1 setup where he puts a curse ring on Sid, where he moves Sid to the middle, turns his battle speed to 3, and see how he orients that party as well. And looks like, Sid is in the middle now. Yep, he does have that curse ring on, so we might be getting reflect strats here.
Yeah, it looks like keeping Rosa at the top here.
Yeah, this... Go ahead.
It's one of those things when you're doing reflect strats, generally speaking, you want someone who has high HP in the top slot, as it's the big bangs are come out. You don't want that person to die. Rosa's at the top. It's a toss-up between Edge and Rosa.
Well, the optimal way to set this up would be to have Sid in the middle, and then Edge at the top using a Star Veil, one of the white mages on the bottom casting white, Rydia in slot 4, which is that top middle slot, casting Nuke, and then the other white mage in slot 5. That would be the absolute optimal way to set this up. Which is just good knowledge for everyone in general. But Tybalt, I see a ton of flags in chat that say Z on them. I think they're flags. They might be nap time. I don't know what's going on. Tell me what we're doing here.
We're actually, instead of taking a nap, we're fighting the final boss here, Zeromus, who we would love to sit there and stick in a trap chest, right, Possum?
I mean, I would love to see Zeromus in a trap chest if I were on comms and not racing.
But we're a little nice, so we don't move Zeromus around. Instead, we randomize who he is. So the question is, whose butt are we going to be kicking tonight?
Also, is it cute? Notably, Moleboy did drop his battle speed down to 4. I actually think that's very heads up. Having 2 white mages here with only 1 nuker, that's going to give him a lot of extra time to do what he needs to do with this party. He does have a ton of Star Veils here. He's got an Elixir, he's got a Cure 3, he's got 2 white mages. So this fight might go a little long, longer than you're used to for Reflect strats, but it should be pretty safe, all things considered.
Yeah, I know. The other thing I think he may have dropped down to 4 is he does not have any Silk Web, which is also a common thing to throw out to slow down Zeromus even farther. Generally used in Zerg strats, but we have Yeti Miss.
Nice. I would also like to point out, he might be going for some safety strats here. I definitely like this as well.
Okay.
So going for a couple different Star Veils on people to make sure that they don't die from counters. I do like this. Now, hopefully Porum doesn't get hit right now. But yeah, there's a nuke getting countered off Rydia. Had he not gone for that second Star Veil, that could have one-shot Rydia. So very heads up by Moleboy, going for the safe route here to make sure he gets through this.
And well, it looks like just about everybody's getting Star Veils, as Sid just popped one up too.
Yep, and he actually queued up a white with Rosa to target Sid, who hadn't quite veiled yet. So understanding the delay on white also, really well set up by Moleboy to start out this fight. Very impressive. And notably also, no one has finished yet out of the 18 runners. So Moleboy, our first runner on Restream that we know of who's in Z, with nobody done yet in the race.
And those whites and nukes are coming out for 7 to 8k. This is gonna be a fairly quick fight with it being on BS4 if the damage rolls keep up.
That's a little awkward though, seeing such big damage on both Porum and Rydia. They both took pretty high rolls given their levels. And the problem now becomes, how do you cure them for the next big bang?
Well, I think he has at least 1 elixir and I believe a Cure 3 in his inventory.
Yeah,
so he can. You bring one to full health, and then use a Cure 3, and I believe bring the other one up to full health as well.
And looks like that Cure 3 going now, and it is going on, looks like Porum. Opting to try to keep the white mage alive. And might try to nerf here, or might just keep going with Reflex. We'll see what he opts to do.
May end up trying to nerf this Big Bang that's about to come out.
Yep, looks like a soft gonna come out from Porum. And if this nerf is timed right and goes through, this is very well done by Moleboy to try to prevent a lot of damage to this party, because tons of HP they do not have. And this is kind of what we were talking about, where this fight might go a little longer than normal Reflect strats, just simply based on the composition of the party.
Mm-hmm. But still not opting to pop a Cure 3 on that Rydia. Maybe trying to do it now. Hopefully this elixir goes off.
Yeah, we'll see. Does have quite a few white mages, does have enough health on this Sid that even if everyone else dies, he can use a life potion, get a white mage up, get a Cure 4 off. So all is not lost, even if it's not nerfed, but it was nerfed. Unfortunately, the elixir is going to get eaten, which is a little awkward. It looks like the black hole is going to be incoming, so this white is likely to kill Sid from Porum, but the white from Rosa is going to go through. Hopefully that white from Porum goes off before the black hole.
Well, it's Rydia now in the queue.
Very well timed Starveil on this Rydia with that black hole coming out. So Sid is dead here. Yeah. That's a done deal. But Rydia at least is going to survive.
Yep. Sorry, Sid.
But we are running low on curative, so I think Rose is going to have to take a turn casting Cure 4 here. But Rydia is still going to be able to bounce nukes, so this is not lost by any means.
Oh, going for the straight out damage.
Okay. I have not been counting, admittedly, so I don't know how close he is.
And neither have I. Might be close. I think he's like in the 50k range. And there's
I think he's in the 61k range, actually. GG to Moleboy. First place on Restream and first place in the race in general. Heck of a run. Bold plays paying off.
I mean, they say grind early and grind quite a bit. And that's what he did.
And meanwhile, Alchemy has her party ready to go as well, it looks like. Well, also going to take some more Sirens here, but great run by both of our runners. They took very different paths, largely predicated on the early darkness find for Moleboy. And speaking of, I believe we are now joined by Moleboy. GG's and congratulations, Moleboy.
Yeah, seriously. I think there's just a little bit of adrenaline wearing off because I can't believe I had that perfect of a seed. This is like half an hour faster than pretty much anything else I've run on this.
So I think one of the biggest questions is, what was going through your mind when you found D-Mist at Mist Cave and it turned into the Darkness Crystal?
I was like, well, this is now I need to basically, I think from that point I was just like, well, I need to get a party that's viable. I know when I saw the Edward in Eblin Cave, I grabbed him, but I was just like, I don't think that's going to pan out because I'm not going to go for any more key items. So it's not like I can do Spoonword. So then it was grab characters and then try to find all the J items I needed, right? So I went looking for the hourglasses, found the Sirens, and then was like, well, I should check the moon because if I've got coffins, then that is the easiest and quickest of the, the egg grind, which is what I ended up doing. and basically sold every single piece of gear I had in order to fund that.
Yeah, we had kind of speculated once we saw you buy the 20 sirens, would you end up looking for, the coffins as well? Because otherwise it was actually going to be quite difficult to get the grind started. That first egg or two would have been really tough. So I think we kind of shouted it out on the way that was very heads up to go through and get those coffins as well.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't have anything to break the eggs, right? Rydia is not strong enough early to do much of anything. Obviously, Rosa and Horam aren't going to be doing nearly enough damage for me. Edge stood me well, like gear-wise, through the overworld for what I needed to do, but then from there it was just like, well, I'm not going to be able to break eggs there, so it was... I mean, I was basically saying, well, I get coffins. I mean, when I character checked up on the moon, I'm like, well, if I get food, that does open up, gold reuse if he has weak. So that was another worry I had, is if I did get food, is he going to be powered up in the right way? Because I touched next to no bosses before going to the moon. So it's like, okay, is there enough there? And then what do I do from there, right? So I basically was super thankful when I saw the coffins on the moon and it wasn't a coffinless seed. And then that was like, okay, I've got 5 characters that are viable. Obviously going to have to do reflect strats because there's no way I'm going to get the right gear for any of that. So basically go for the nuke strats. I was hoping to have nuke earlier, I will say, like having to do that the extra encounter for Rydia wasn't exactly what I'd planned on, but knew I needed that in order to get through Z. But honestly, once you have white and a little bit of decent gear on Rosa, that's pretty smooth for the moon, like especially since I had Porum to heal and blink. And I will say, like, having 2 to 3 of the moon bosses relatively free helped a lot, especially because I had multiple that had solid elemental weaknesses, so Rosa could actually still contribute rather than just kind of doing middling damage with the elemental spells.
And speaking of the one boss you faded, you attempted to cast a white on Val, and Val laughed, and
Yep.
you also then laughed and said, I'll go somewhere else. Did you have any inklings of trying to fight that one out, or were you just like, no, I'm
No,
good?
I could not
Literally
remember
else?
if that was one of the spots that had like 0 magic evade, because I know there's a couple where Val is basically free even with spells. So I was like, well, I know I can hit her, but I'm not doing nearly enough damage. Let's see if the spells hit. The moment it whiffed, I'm like, no, there's too much magic evade, and that's my entire offense. So there's no way I can like actually take her there, and hopefully Crystal Sword is going to be a little bit nicer.
Yeah, we thought that was very heads up as well, noping out of that. It can be really hard once you commit to a plan to have to back out of it, and we just thought, I know Tybalt and I both were very impressed by your decision making, and also your choice to go to Battle Speed 4 with the 2 white casters. I thought was very heads up instead of the normal Battle Speed 3.
Yeah, it was just, again, it's a part of it too is just like I'm not nearly as comfortable with reflect strats. So getting used to like that, I'm just like, and then having the 2 white casters, I mean, and I still almost made a hash of it. Black hole went off and I managed to completely nuke Sid, and by sheer happenstance I didn't get the heal off with Edge on Rydia, so she was back up and Starveiled after the black hole. So I was like, okay, I've got somebody I can at least bounce off of here. Debated going for like a cure 4, but then I'm like, if I remembered correctly, like if you heal Z, it also can overflow, like cause to go to second phase. So I'm like, no, I can't risk that. I'm just gonna have to just keep reflecting and hope I get enough off before the next big bang goes off.
Yeah, I'll say this for being, I'm guessing, relatively new to reflect strats. You pulled those off like a pro.
Yeah, like I said, I totally meant to nuke Sid into oblivion and totally didn't, mean to throw an elixir. I meant to throw the elixir at the dead Rydia. That worked out perfectly. But yeah, the only ones that I haven't been able to do is I haven't done the 1200 vamp strats, and I have not done Eddy strats because those sound horribly painful.
They're a new and different kind of exciting, and yeah, you'll want to put some time and practice into those before trying them on Restream. Yeah, I've tried and failed them, and I know Tybalt has too.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I was shocked because it was like I actually felt stupid. I was like, oh crap, I went away from Watery Passage. I should have checked that boss first, and then just went into Demist. I'm like, oh, vanilla. Well, that's a thing. And then I'm like, well, I'm right here, so I'll just go check it. And then basically already having the magma key, it was basically I made like by sheer happenstance the exact right place for all the key items, right? Because it was like I got magma key, then I got darkness crystal, and hook was in Fey March. So like of the things that I needed to check all the J item shops, I then had everything, and then it's like, well, hopefully nothing's missing, and I can somehow scrounge enough cash to be able to buy everything, which is part of the reason I actually did loot all of Evelyn Cave, is just I needed cash.
I think you're selling yourself short when you say it's just happenstance. And I say this because I know that you have put in the time and the work. And luck is when preparation meets opportunity. The right seed was here for you, and you've been prepared. You've been grinding. You've been paying attention to a lot of streams. You've been doing your homework. This is the combination, the confluence of events to make it all work for you. And a heck of a job you did.
Yeah, I'm still shocked I got a 105. Like I said, I think my quote-unquote good times, even with like a coffin egg grind, it was like right around 130 and 145 to 2 hours when it was more of a full clear seed. So this is shockingly fast for me.
GG's, awesome. You have any other questions?
No, I mean, GG's to Moleboy. Great run. I think we've kind of exhausted all your time. Your adrenaline settled down yet?
A little bit. I'm going to hopefully peek over and see how a couple other people are doing and wish them luck.
Definitely. Well, thank you again so much for volunteering to be restreamed tonight, Moleboy. Again, heck of a run. Beautiful job.
I picked the perfect time to restream. You
did. And y'all, if you haven't already, go ahead and give Moleboy a follow. There's a link that's going to come out in chat shortly for that. You want to also follow Alchemy, but if you're just seeing this from Moleboy, who's a very new runner, you're definitely going to want to see more. He is an up-and-coming potential star in this community.
And during the interview of Moleboy, we have Esco Nitz finishing in second place with 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 45 seconds. GG's to Esco.
Yeah, big GG's to Esco as well. Another newer runner in the community, but no stranger to restreams or anything like that. A huge player in our restream team, doing comms, doing restreaming, doing tracking. So we appreciate all the work Esco does, and GG's to her as well.
And she's starting to make her dive, already going through the Murasame altar and the crystal sword. Soon to meet up with the rest of the bottom. Will Alchemy end up taking out Val or not?
Because of Alchemy's pathing, it would either be Val or having to go all the way back to the Octomam in Cave Bahamut, right?
Yep.
That's an awkward choice to have to make.
It's supposed to be will Val really give you anything that you really need? I don't think so, not for a time save aspect. So I think going back up and doing the Octomom and having to retread the moon is probably, in my mind, the better play. But I always could be wrong.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. It's a really tough one. We know that Alchemy is going to be able to get through this plague spot, the ribbon room, but it's really going to come down to, does she have enough firepower with this party to get through it? Which you're basically looking at Edge and Sid, and do they have the gear to get through it? Not quickly. We'll see.
Don't forget about Rosa's aim. Rosa could put in a little bit of damage.
Do we have anything even decent for Rosa?
I wonder if Rosa has the black belt on with maybe an archer bow and charm arrows.
Huh? Could be. Boy, that's a tough spot to be in, though. Archer bow, charm arrow. That's tough. And to catch everyone up on the happenings so far this seed, Vanilla D-Mist had the Darkness Crystal literally available from the start. Moleboy had Go Mode about 8 minutes in. Alchemy went up the Tower of Zot and was able to find a Fusoya, which drove her back to Mist Cave in order to get extra bosses. So our runners are kind of naturally funneled to the D-Mist holding Darkness, but not necessarily in the order they may have wanted. Val at the Ogopogo spot also is a major turning point here because that's pretty rude. It's just one of those things where Darkness was pretty much available from the get-go.
Awesome. In your mind, that early Darkness, it's one of those things, like, do you prefer Jet or do you prefer a nice, slow, steady seed?
My track record is far, far better in longer seeds. I have played many a Jet seed and lost many a Jet seed, so for me, that's an easy I hate Jet seeds.
I think we have all our own fear of the Jet seeds. Unless one just plays right into your hands.
I think I would rather have things come down to naturally playing the odds, making up small increments of time as we proceed throughout a seed. I'm not the type of runner who's aggressive enough for Jet seeds. A lot of runners are, but that's not my personal style. But there is no one right or wrong way to play a seed. There's so many different ways to play for Enterprise and so many different ways to be successful at it.
Yeah, as we have many different clubs and that are going on, and hopefully soon. I wonder when our summer tournament's going to be happening.
Is that soon TM?
Yeah, soon TM. We haven't heard anything about it. It just feels like it's around that normal time that it would normally happen. But we can always wish and hope.
Definitely. I know I look forward to it. I hope to see many of the Pink Puffs competing in that next tournament as well, alongside some of the veterans like yourself, and scary enough, I think I would be considered one of them too now.
Yes, you are a veteran as well now. Alchemy on her way down to find Val at Ogopogo.
And surely to say to herself when she gets there, "Oh yay!"
I should have taken Bahamut's spot.
It does have a light sword, a Gungnir spear, a couple dancing daggers, so has some decent ways to get through it. Will we see magic being cast here? That's a 5,600 damage dart. Looks like we are... Nope, no white attempt there. Fusoya is super dead. Got weak and then got punched.
Got punched for more than his max HP too.
Welcome to the Ogopogo spot, friends. It is mean. It has lots of magic and lots of physical attack, and just it's rude. This spot
lots of
stinks.
health. Everything's bad about this spot.
Yeah, there's not much great.
Yeah. Any boss besides free bosses are bad here.
And to answer a question from chat, was Val the only annoyance on the moon? Mom Bomb at Plague was probably the second most annoying, but Val pretty much takes the cake on this one.
Yeah. I think it is, you have Octomom at Bahamut, relatively free. Yes, it hits hard, but if you can get the 3 to 5 hits off, Octomom slows down quite a bit and you can get through it. Mylon Z with your white and Firecasters, not too much of a problem. Mylon and Friends, again, not too much of a problem, considering his spot. Mom, and then we have Water Hag, free fight. relatively anywhere you find Water Hag, I think. And
And
of
looks
course
like,
Val.
yep, and of course Val. Looks like Val not going to be able to do too much here to Alchemy's party. The blinks are coming up, but she will need to think about getting some heals off fairly soon, because otherwise we're going to get some petrified characters, and there is a heal going up onto Edge.
Yeah, I think trying to keep the Edge alive to get a few more darts as Sid finally got turned to stone.
Yeah, that's not great for Sid.
But the heal comes right after that, and he's no longer turned to stone.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing, but he lost his blink, which is a little awkward.
I think he may have been Zerked, I'm not 100% sure. It's the unfortunate of having been turned to stone, you lose all your buffs.
Well, or debuffs.
True.
But it looks like we have still doing very appreciable damage there. Almost 2,400 from Edge zerked up. So this is going to take a hot minute, but Alchemy will be able to get through this.
Yeah, I think Alchemy did quite a bit of damage with the darts, I think ranging in the 15 to 17k range.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too much longer to get through this. And Alchemy will then be on her way down to the big bad Zeromus. And meanwhile, we had our first place finisher on Restream Moleboy, and then we had Esco finishing in second place. We have also had Jabron TR finish in third, Angie Dave finish in fourth, Rybon finish in fifth, and Neobari finishing sixth. So huge shout outs to everyone who has gotten through this one already. I'm guessing they've all found that D-Mist.
I wonder if it came down to I've checked every item spot, now I'm on a D-Mist hunt? At least you're not trying to hunt for D-Mist on the moon, possibly, or in the Giant, having to have the Darkness Crystal required for any of those.
Definitely. But it looks like Alchemy is through. That is going to be 5 objectives for her. Going to get her crystal, going to get her Stardust Rod. Now, Alchemy does have just the one nuke caster, but that nuke caster in Fu is going to get a Stardust Rod, and that's quite a nice upgrade and quite a bit of damage boosting.
Oh yeah, giving that Stardust Rod to any of your black magic casters a really good buff. Gonna be an extra 5 wisdom, but every little bit counts.
And I don't blame Alchemy for not swag walking there. Goodness forbid you don't get through the Z. You do not want to be doing that Val again. So this is 100% an approved save here in my book.
Yes. If you're uncomfortable with your party before going to Z, always a good idea to do a safety save.
Definitely. And just for those who may or may not know, Zeromus is kind of a kind final boss, does heal you. So the cabin that Alchemy used, not necessary in this case, just as a future bit of heads up for everybody.
It may have been a habit thing of heal up, save, as you just get into that rhythm of doing that as you go through a seed. I know I've done that a few times.
I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I've used a cabin before fighting the element spot on the Giant, so...
Or using a cabin before the Ruby spot on the hook route.
That too. But meanwhile, Alchemy making her way down to Zeromus. And speaking of Zeromus, we have had a 7th place finisher. Reckless Charlie coming in 7th place. So Alchemy still in the top half of the field here. So both of our Restream runners putting on a heck of a show. Huge shout outs to them for volunteering to be restreamed, putting their I guess livelihoods on the line, if you will, for this high stakes Pink Puff League race.
Yeah.
All the marbles to the victor. Fun fact, y'all, there's nothing at stake here at all. It's not high stakes. The Pink Puff League is probably the most fantastic, or one of the most fantastic things I've seen in the free enterprise community. It's absolutely wonderful for new players, for even existing and old school players who just have not played a ton. Y'all are probably very familiar with Alchemy's name from tracking, from commentary, all sorts of things that aren't running. And that's totally fine. However you want to be a part of this community, you can be. And I'm just so happy that we get to see Alchemy race. This is very exciting. Selfishly.
Well, the other thing is, like, I can understand everybody's nervousness to go into a community race with all these weird flags, and you've been trying to play on your own. And that's the one really nice thing about the Pink Puff League, is that it doesn't really matter. It's geared more towards the novice players to help you learn the game better.
And there is Yetimus and Alchemy going with double slows right off the bat. Going to drop this Yeti speedway down. Hopefully we get a nerf in here. Looks like we're going nuking with Fu to drop down that Yeti. Going to get that nerf in. And we'll see if Alchemy chooses to go reflect strats after this. Actually, it looks like a Bacchus wine coming out on Sid. So it might get some hybrid here.
May not feel comfortable enough doing reflect strats with 2 white casters and a nuke caster. Did not get the nerf off.
Is that? But... I guess that was a reflected nuke, not a direct cast. Okay.
Yeah, it was a reflected slow cast and a reflected nuke cast.
Well, on the plus side, when you have this much health from that much grinding, you're good.
Yeah. I mean, who needs a nerf? You have a 5k Sid and a 3k Rosa. Do you really need the nerf? Nah.
Probably not. Now we do get the Cure 3 coming out on that edge to keep him alive through the next big bang.
Yeah. As you can't do any cure spells on him right now because he currently has a Star Veil up on him.
Yep, and that's totally fine because he's going to be able to do a good bit as a Zerker and also be able to keep that wall up because he has a lot of HP. We might be getting... Was that a Zerk on Rosa as well? No, a wall on Rosa. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think he may have cast wall on Edge. So she may not realize whether or not the wall's going to fall off or not because you can only see one status effect at a time.
Gotcha.
And so as we see the dips into something like a life or a cure, we just see Berserk. We don't see the wall. But when you're in the regular menu, you can see all the debuffs.
Yeah, but this is nice and consistent. That was a joke. It's not consistent.
No.
We may get to see our second character get whited to death, as I know there's a white queued up here on Edge, and the black hole may be coming, and I have a feeling Edge is about to explode courtesy of Rosa. You'll love to see it.
Maybe hoping to get a wall cast off with Fu?
Unfortunately, with Fu being in slot 5 and Rosa in slot 4, that Rosa is going to get that white cast off before the wall.
Yeah, there it goes.
And there goes Edge, and we'll just bring him back to life. It's all good.
Yep. And we're just going to make sure he's nice and healthy afterwards.
and has the Bacchus wine. Let Edge take a swig. It's all good.
I think that's what it was. Is she had used a Bacchus and then cast wall, where the wall spell itself actually, for those of you that don't know, uses your willpower to determine how long it stays active. A Star Veil casts the wall at max willpower. So you can
And then a
sometimes see
Moon
difference.
Veil.
Yeah. Moon Veil. Ooh, that casts, I think it's Shell, or is it Barrier?
Barrier.
Barrier prevents all physical damage. The wall will fall off. However, the barrier does not.
But that wall is still twice as long as a Star Veil, which is a veritable eternity. And holy cow, Porum, you just took 2,368 damage from a Big Bang. Have you considered dodging? That is a thing that exists. You do know this.
I don't think Porum has any gear on right now. I think Fu has the Sork robe and Rosa has the white shirt. So Porum, I think, is fully embracing the Sineki flag.
I think Fu is about to be embracing the nuke yourself in the face flag, which is also not a great flag to embrace.
Here
But that's
comes the
okay.
windup. It's okay. It still can recover.
Was that a 9,600 damage nuke from Fu?
I believe so.
I don't know that I've ever seen a nuke that large from Fusoya, and unfortunately it happened on himself.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna crit, you might as well crit on yourself.
And we do have an 8th place finisher, meanwhile. MTI has finished in 8th. GG's to MTI.
Jeez. And Fu is now out of MP, but Alchemy does have an elixir to refill his 200 MP, as I believe Alchemy found the rare drop from the Warlocks in a Soma drop.
Yes, I did see that as well. Picking up that Soma drop was pretty nice for that Fu.
Gives you one extra nuke cast.
And this hybrid strategy continuing along. Unfortunately, Fusoya has decided to take another nap.
Look, he's an old man. He has to take quite a few naps. He gets tired easily.
I think the wall was up on Rosa and Alchemy cast white on Fu, which it is, to your point, very hard to keep track of where those walls are. And Alchemy has been sniped by Scenario, finishing in 9th place. GG's to them.
I mean, at least we still have the queue being clogged here with the zerked up Edge, and I believe Sid is still zerked up.
Oh, 975. Rosa, relax. There's rocks. This is a little scary. We need some dodges from Edge and Rosa. Edge dodges and finishes the fight. Alchemy, GG's to you. My goodness. Let's see if we can get Alchemy in for an interview. But congratulations and GG's to both of our runners. Again,
very
Moleboy.
well run.
Yeah, Moleboy. First place overall in the race. Absolute heck of a race by Moleboy. And Alchemy coming in 10th also ran a beautiful race herself. Just happened to fade that darkness crystal via vanilla demist, which I'm not gonna lie, that would catch a lot of people by surprise.
Oh yeah, can definitely understand that. Demas holding your main form of progression to beat the seed, has hit a lot of people before.
Oh, yeah. But we do still have 8 other runners going. So this race is by no means completed. We have about half the field done, half the field to go. And we also have a lot more in the way of pink puffs that's going to be happening in the future. Every single week, we're going to be having the Pink Puff League. So don't think that this is just a one-time thing. There will be no restream for it next week, but there will be a restream for it in 2 weeks.
Yep, every other week. And I believe the flags for next week, for those of you that are wanting to possibly practice for the Pink Puffs next week, I believe they come out early in the week. Awesome.
I believe Oscar will be posting them probably early next week, or maybe even later this week, as the architect of the flags. We shall see when she decides to grace us with the next iteration of this wonderful event. Looks like they'll be tonight, actually. So everyone will be able to get their practice on for a full week.
Ooh.
And
welcome into Alchemy. GG's to you. What a way to close that out.
Yeah, do you know, like, when you think you got the right target and then it turns out that it was the last target? That's why, folks, it's good to have one person that always gets walled and not swapped.
Well, you were just making it exciting for everyone watching. And I dare say, you are quite the showwoman there, Alchemy, and you did a wonderful job showing off all the new and creative ways that Fusoya could perish.
I know, right? Do you know, like this new strat that everyone's talking about, Fusoya and friends? Well, this is friends and Fusoya.
That's amazing, Alchemy.
So, if I may say a thing, like, my main driving force behind joining this race, aside from the fact that the flags were absolutely amazing, and like shout outs to everyone that like came up with them, I wanted like all the newbies to like go against someone that has like game knowledge but doesn't know anything about execution. This like so they can see that with enough practice and like just execution, they can beat someone that's been around for a long time that has all these ideas in her head, right? Like, oh, I have to go there, have to do this boss does that, it's to this. But then when you get down into the like nitty gritty of things, it's kind of like, oh, I'm fumbling so hard, you know. And I wanted the newbies to see that with enough practice, you can beat people that know their stuff in quotations, because oh boy, is it hard.
Well, and all the knowledge in the world is not going to help you get through Valvalis with a mage party. So
no,
there's that.
I was saving some stuff in case of Valvalis, like that knocking and stuff. I was like, okay, I just keep this in my back pocket, just in case. Well, there she was.
And what was kind of your thoughts on skipping Value Cave? I know that you kind of saw the Octomam there, and we could see you dance around on the 3rd floor for a little bit, kind of deciding, do I do this? Do I not do it? What was your ultimate decision? I mean, we saw you faded it, but what really drove that decision?
My decision was I've got a mage party, and I know I can take this. I can like do this. But I know these spot punches really hard and it's pretty fast, so I would rather go down the Lunar terrain, see what I find there instead of like dealing with a physical boss. Because my idea is like, if it's a physical boss, and like let's be real, Octomammoth is one of the weakest physical bosses because you can slow it down. But I was like, if it's a physical boss, I'm just not going to bother, like flat out. I'm just gonna check out the other spots. There's 5 other spots on the moon. I can deal with it. Turns out that was not the correct decision, but hindsight and all that.
It's really good reasoning though, and that's kind of why I wanted to ask the question, was to find out where your mindset was on it, and it makes total sense. Also, the fact that Octobam absorbs Holy and you had 2 white casters that didn't help you
Yeah.
either. So
Nope.
you got the Fusoya from Tower of Zot. How happy were you?
I was pretty satisfied. I went in Zot looking for characters, like, because I went into the into Evelyn Cave, like, okay, I need a character for this. And then obviously I saw Edward and I was like, I haven't found a spoon, so I'm not gonna take Edward. And then I realized, oh, Palom learns Berserk, not Exit next level. My Sailman chest play was actually not that great. And I had to run all the way out, so I was a little bummed out about that. But then I went up Zod and I saw the Fusoya and I was pretty happy because that kind of like made the routing for me. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hit the 3 bosses, and then I'm gonna go upper deals for a total of 4 bosses, and then we'll see what happens there. And Mistcave was constantly on the back of my mind, but it didn't quite matter because until I had a set of characters that I wanted to grind, I wasn't going up to the moon anyways, per se. But it was always nagging me, like, I haven't checked that yet. I should do that. So when I got that Fusoya and I went to do it anyways, I was like,
Yeah, and it made sense once you got Fusoya to check that, and then routing in ordeals as well to get the 3 bosses, the key item check was really heads up
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, the
yeah.
10th key item, I checked the tracker and I was like, oh yeah, I'm 9 key items, so this is key main, so I just go to ordeals, get 3 bosses out of the way, get a key item, and I'm set.
Yeah, definitely. Well, very well run, very well done. Always a pleasure. In this case, to get to watch you race instead of commentate with you, or watch you track, which you're a huge member of the Restream community, so it's really cool to get to see you race.
I just really wanted to like boost the newbies up, and to show them that they really can do anything if they set their mind to. Honestly, that's all I wanted. They deserve it. They are the lifeblood of the community. Like, people come and go, so we have to keep the ones that come like here.
Definitely. Tybalt, any questions for Alchemy?
No, I don't have any questions. I think she ended up covering everything I had and explanation.
Sure. What was the song, by the way? I'm curious.
We don't know.
Oh,
yeah, it's a mystery.
What a shame. Oh well, that's fine. Maybe I'll on my own.
Hashtag Fade Twin Harp.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I was dreading that. Like someone in the restaurant was like, if I lose because I faded like Twin Harp to darkness, like I'm fine with that. I'm like, you know what? You go down with that ship.
Well, Alchemy, last words are yours. It looks like we're out of questions for you. Take it away.
There is nothing in the world of free enterprise that can't be fixed with levels. Thank you, everyone.
Very well said.
See you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Have a great night, Alchemy.
You too.
All right, Tybalt. Well, with that, we are now done with our Pink Puff League Week 3. And let's give one final shout out. We have a couple more finishers who finished during the interview. Arusta in 11th, Dubward in 12th, Heart Gamer in 13th. So GG's to those 3 runners as well. Huge shout out again to our volunteers, Moleboy and Alchemy, finishing 1st and 10th respectively. Great job by both. And huge shout outs again to Solaris, restreaming, Warlink doing the tracking, this guy named Tybalt doing comms with me, and everybody else for sticking around, and Oscar, of course, for coming up with the Pink Puff League concept. So thank you, everyone.
And don't forget about the wonderful marsupial and yourself there, Possum.
Well, thank you, Tybalt. But with that, we will be bidding you all adieu this evening. However, as we alluded to before, the free enterprise train pretty much never stops chugging. So it looks like we are going to be heading off to Lock Cole Live. He is running a Chaos Mystery Seed. So yeah, that's going to be terrifying. So we should send him all of our energy because that just seems really difficult and something that I wouldn't want to be a part of. So we'll let Locke run all the crazy stuff. But thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this community. It is the best community on the internet. And yeah, no spoilers, of course, or you'll get the bonk. We don't like spoilers.
Nope, newspapers for any spoilers.
And remember to keep checking out and supporting all of our clubs, our free enterprise ladder. And thank you again to everyone. Y'all have a great night.